Hello everyone, this is Shannon with Waffle Flower Crafts. Today we are joining Tracy McNeely's 25 Days of Christmas Tags, and I'm going to show you how to create a really fun dimensional pop-up Christmas tree tag. In my hands I'm holding the pull tab tree die as well as the pull tab tree pop-up add-on die. These two dies come in the pull tab tree bundle, and I'm going to use these to create our pop-up tree. I've cut all the branches with the pull tab tree pop-up add-on die, and the top three pieces I've used the pull tab tree die to cut the mechanism, the pull tab, and the tree itself. Now I'm using this triangular die here from the pull tab tree pop-up add-on die to just cut the openings inside my tree so I can add the branches later. I'll place the die at the upper portion but in the center of my tree, then use a little piece of purple tape to hold it in place and then run it through my die cutting machine. I'll remove the tape now and then pop the die out and you'll see the little openings for the branches. Now I'm going to add a little shading to these branches just so they really pop, and it just adds a little bit more depth, and I just really love the look. So I'm using a distress ink. This is pine needles, and I'm just ink blending the upper portion, really the upper 2/3 of each one of these branches. I started obviously with green cardstock, which really makes this ink blending process really fast and simple. It's just a nice addition to these branches. So now I'm going to move on to assembling my tree. I've already added score tape to different places on my mechanism, which I'm holding right here in my hand, the tree, which is the largest piece, and this pull tab on the back side. So I basically have 4 pieces of score tape, one on the mechanism, one on the pull tab, and 2 on the tree. And the second one that's on the tree is only there to hold the pull tab in its locked position later, because I'm actually making this just a pop-up tree or just a dimensional tree. I don't want to make this a pull tab tree. Even though I could, I want to just leave this as a popped-up tree. So right now I am scoring on folding, I should say, each one of the score lines on the tree. It's symmetrical, so it's the same on both sides, and I just trimmed off the little tab that was on the right side because I'm going to have my pull tab come out the right side. So whatever side you want your pull tab to be, that's the side you're going to trim that little tab. And now I'm just taking my fingers and gently pressing and kind of conditioning that paper so it has a nice curve, because this tree will pop out kind of like a cone. Now I'm going to attach the pull tab and the mechanism together. So I just folded the tab on the pull tab, feeded it through the mechanism, and then folded it down with the score tape backing removed, so now it's stuck. Now I'm folding the mechanism, then folding the tab back, and now I have my little pull tab and mechanism ready to go. I'm going to hold off on attaching the mechanism pull tab to the tree to finish up my branches, because this is the point where I want to add my branches, but they're not quite done. I'm taking a Marvy Snow marker and just adding some of the ink or paint inside the marker along the edge of each one of the branches. Once I've got the edge well coated, I'll then take my heat gun and set the paint. And what this does is it makes that paint poof up and get really dimensional and really have that look of snow. It's a really fun finish, and since I'm not mailing this, I don't want this to actually collapse, I'm not worried about the extra dimension from the snow. And I'm adding it to each one of the branches, and I did that off camera, just repeated that process for each one. Now I'm curving each one of these branches with my fingers, just like I did to the tree earlier, just so it's a little bit rounded, kind of like a Pringles chip. This will make it look really even more dimensional when I add it to the tree. So now I'm going to add these branches to the tree. Each one of these branches has little tabs. I'm folding back the tabs so it's more compact, and then feeding that end of the branch through the little opening in the tree. Once I get it fed through, then I will fan out those little tabs. I found that it was easier sometimes to use something like tweezers or a die pick to kind of help you fan those out. But that's all you have to do. Once those tabs are fanned out, that branch will stay input inside the tree. There's no need to tape or glue or anything. Those branches are going to stay in there. Even if you flip this tree over back and forth, which I do frequently, they won't fall out as long as you fan them out. So I'm going to do one more here. Again, fold the little tabs back, then feed that end through the opening, and then fan them out on the back. I'm going to repeat this process now for the rest of the branches. So off camera, I added all the branches to the tree, so you can see all the notches or all the openings in the back are filled with the branch. And now I'm going to finish up this tree with my very last branch. This one obviously doesn't get fed through an opening. It will rest at the very top of the tree. I folded back the tab. Now I'm going to add a little dab of glue to the back of the tree, and then I will place this on the front and then fold that tab over the tree to stick to that little dab of glue that I added to the back. I also like to use a little piece of washi tape to kind of hold that tab down in place on top of the glue. And I will leave that washi tape there. Since you don't see it, there's really no need to remove it. Now I have one more kind of embellishment I'd like to add to this tree, and that is the star. So this star kind of gets attached basically the same way as that branch does. You use a little dab of glue in the back, and then you attach the tab of the star to that glue. And again, I use a little piece of washi tape to kind of hold that star in place as the glue sets. And I just leave it there because you don't see that washi tape, so there's no need to remove it later. So now we're ready to move on to putting the mechanism, our pull tab and our mechanism piece to our tree. So the pull tab gets fed through the right side of the tree here. There's an opening there for that tab to go through. But before we can really get that pull tab in place, we need to attach the mechanism part of the pull tab to this little tab here that is on the right side of our tree. This is actually really the left side of the tree if you were looking at the tree front ways, but since we are in the back, it's now on the right side. And then once I got it attached, I just fed the tab through that opening again, and now we're ready to kind of close this tree shut. And I use some liquid glue to do this. There's two triangular pieces, they're almost like tabs themselves, and I add glue to just one of those. You can choose whichever side you want, it doesn't matter. I added some liquid glue to it, and now I'm gently bending and curving the tree so those two tabs meet up, and that one is on top of the other, or I should say the one without glue is on top of the glue one. And we're almost done with our tree. We do have one more little tab here with score tape on it, which is on the mechanism piece. I just removed the backing, and then I collapsed the mechanism and then pressed the tree straight down onto the mechanism. And the whole reason behind this is that these dies were designed to create a pop-up tree that basically can collapse completely flat for mailing. But since I'm making a tag today, I actually want this tree to stay kind of permanently popped up. So I will eventually kind of cut away that pull tab later. Right now I'm just testing the pull tab, making sure that the tree is popping up. The pull tab has a little notch on it, so when you pull, I'll hold it to the camera so you can see there's a little notch there, so when you pull and then pull down, that little notch will lock into the side of the tree and will hold that tree in that popped up position. So now before we can add our tree to our tag, we need to create our tag. So I went ahead and die cut two tags using the swatch tag die out of some red cardstock. I cut two because I actually want to adhere them together, so I have that beautiful pierced border on both sides of my tag, the front and the back, because you do actually see that tag a little bit when you look at the front of the tree. You can kind of see it. So I just use some liquid glue to kind of glue the two together. Now I'm going to stamp my sentiment and some lines to write to and from. The sentiment is from the Christmas tree stamp set, which is included with the pull tab tree bundle. So you get the Christmas tree stamp set as well as the two pull tab tree dies that I used to create today's tree. The lines, though, are from a homemade Christmas stamp set, a really great little stamp set that does have those two little lines there, as well as to and from, which is what I'm stamping right now. As you can see, I did some gold heat embossing, so I put down some anti-static powder first, stamped my sentiment and to and from and everything in Versamark, applied some gold embossing powder, and then heat set with my heat gun. So now I'm ready to attach my tree to my gift tag. I'm just going to add some glue to the very bottom portion of the tree. There's actually like two sections there. It's very clear to see where you would add the glue. Just added some liquid glue there. I'm adding it to my little gift tag, and then I press down just till the glue sets, and that's done. Now I'm going to pull on the tab here to make sure the tree is fully popped up, and then I remove that last bit of score tape backing, and then stuck the little basically it's that little half circle to the pull tab to hold it in that locked position, and then cut the excess of the pull tab, because again, I don't want this to actually be a pull tab. You could leave this a pull tab if you wanted to, but I want this tree to stay in this popped up dimensional position the whole time. I don't ever want it to collapse. So now I'm just taking some Nuvo crystal drops here to add some final details to the tree. I really like this last little bit. This just really finishes the tree and really incorporates the red on the gift tag, and that will complete the tag. I'll hold up to the camera here so you can get a good look at all the details. I think this is such a fun gift tag. The receiver is just going to be so surprised by all that dimension. I hope you guys enjoyed today's project. If you want any more info on the products I use, please visit Waffle Flower, and you can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook for more creative ideas. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.